Hi, everyone. Welcome to another segment of Wednesdays with Wendy. Today, I am joined by Karla Giroux. I know we were probably expecting Liz Curran, but this is Liz's colleague, and I'm going to actually have her introduce herself. We're still talking about the same topic, radical remission. So Karla will be here to, unpack that a little bit for us so we can learn about what is radical remission. So Karla, thank you so much for being here. And please feel free to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Wendy. I really appreciate it. Yes, I'm Karla Giroux. I am with the Health Navigator, so one of Liz's colleagues. She had a family event she'd forgotten about, so she couldn't be here, but hopefully I can step into her shoes. I myself am what I like to call myself a cancer thriver and a longevity geek. I have a goal to live to be 100. So cancer and long life, sometimes don't go together, but I've made it work and I'm going to make it work. I am also a caregiver. My father had lung cancer and passed back in 2008, and my mother's had a bout of colon cancer and survived that and is doing well. So I've been on both sides of that coin. And the Health Navigators, Liz and myself and Micah Simmons, another one of our colleagues, have come together to really bring people the information from Radical Remission, which is a book written by Dr. Kelly Turner. And she wrote the book Radical Remission in 2015, and she's written a follow-up book called Radical Hope, which came out in 2020. And she basically researched over 1,500 people back in 2015. It was 10 years of research that culminated in the book, who had survived cancer against all odds. And typically people that had done conventional care and hadn't worked, and they were sent home on hospice, and yet somehow they found remission. So Dr. Turner really wanted to find out what these people do. How did they get remission? And why isn't anybody talking to them or studying them or sharing this information? And she was really pleased to find that of these 1,500 people, there were 10 healing factors that were consistently used by all of them to overcome their cancer. So I'll take a breath, but I'd love to tell you more about those 10 healing factors.
Yeah, awesome. So can you kind of walk us through how you became involved in becoming a health navigator? How did they tap into you? How did you start your whole career as a health navigator?
Yeah, so I actually had a corporate career and I always say joyfully released from the corporate world. Here's your nice little severance package after 18 years of working here, bye-bye. And then I was able to follow my passion, which I had been working on getting my coaching certification. So I had already gone, to do that work. And when I found Radical Remission, the book really resonated with me. And these are things that I was trying to do on my metastatic breast cancer journey. And I had incorporated a lot of them, but not all of them. So I was really excited to get the validation that I'm doing some good stuff, and then learn that there was more good stuff that I could do. And I wanted to go to the workshop, and I wanted to become a teacher as soon as I heard that, you could become a Radical Remission workshop teacher. And so I pursued that, and that is where I met Liz and Micah. And the three of us, we met in 2019 when we did the teacher and workshop together. And then it wasn't long after that, maybe 9 months, where we then came together to become the Health Navigators. And so we put our joint venture together so that we could bring all of our resources together. So Micah is an RN. She's got a medical background. Liz is got the coaching background, and her sister was a cancer patient and lost to cancer. And so Liz has a perspective from the grief and the healing from that. And then myself as a cancer survivor. And we all bring something different to the table. And it's really nice to be able to work with other people who have a similar passion. And so we're really trying to bring these workshops to people. We also run book clubs and other fun events and things of interest that are really helping people learn more, find like-minded people that want to learn more about how to be empowered with their health and find their path to health and healing.
Yeah, that's definitely quite a team. And Liz, yeah, we're aware that she is she's a former cancer caregiver. We actually interviewed her about her sister's journey with cancer and, the role she played. So yeah, Liz is known to our platform and our audience. So if you can tell us about the 10
healing factors.
Healing factors, yes. Can you find some light on that for us?
Absolutely. And I will say that in the original book, for anybody that may have read Radical Remission, there were 9 healing factors. And in the follow-up book, Radical Hope, Dr. Turner added that 10th factor because she went back and looked at the studies and realized, you know what? These people may not have been doing exercise in the traditional sense of the word, but they were all moving their bodies and they were all rebuilding themselves so that they could exercise again. So exercise became the 10th factor that wasn't in that original book.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because, in health and wellness, everyone says exercise. So you think like I have to work out for 30 minutes, 25 minutes, but it's really movement. That's like the new thing. You just need to move your body. You don't have to be vigorous. You just got to get moving. And it also helps with stress too. So it's like an outlet.
Oh, yeah.
Moving your body,
Absolutely. And we know from scientific studies that exercise makes a huge difference on the outcome from a diagnosis.
Yes.
And in fact, it is movement because even if you're in a condition where you can't move your own body, physical therapy and somebody moving your body for you counts as movement, and it is helpful and beneficial. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So exercise and movement is one. Spiritual connection is another factor. So really deepening your spiritual connection to really be connected to a higher power, to whatever it is. It's not a religious thing. It's a very spiritual connection. And whether you find that connection through nature or creativity, your painting, things like that, that spiritual connection seems to really be important for people's remission. Another one is increasing social support. So, we may all be able to say we have lots of friends and family, but are we really getting the support that we need? Are we receiving love and help? And for many people, accepting help isn't as comfortable as giving help, right? And so we might be really good at giving help and we help everybody else, but when it comes time to receive help, it's a little bit uncomfortable. And so people need to learn sometimes to get comfortable with receiving help and even with asking for help. And when somebody's facing a diagnosis of any kind, everyone that loves you, all your friends and family are going to want to help. And so finding ways to tell them or ask them for the things that you need and things that would be helpful to you it's important for your healing journey. So it's really a win-win for everybody. Another one is following your intuition. So really getting connected with, what does your intuition tell you need to do? And I like to say this is one of the foundational, all the factors are really important. And I'll just say there's no particular order of importance. I'm just running through them randomly. But to me, intuition is foundational because it can help you make decisions about all of the other factors. So what type of movement does my body need today? Tap into your intuition and ask, what should I be eating today? Tap into your intuition. Which doctor, which practitioner, which modality, which, tap into your intuition and ask. And people don't always have a good honed intuition, but you can absolutely improve your intuition and hone that intuition. And there are ways to practice building your intuition. But the biggest thing is to get quiet and listen to it, which many of us do not do very often.
Yeah, so I'm a big advocate for giving yourself time and space. And we all have that intuition, but sometimes we're just running and so busy that we don't even hear it.
Yeah.
It's speaking to us, but we're not really listening, you know?
Yeah, we just keep pushing it away. I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy. Got things to do.
Absolutely. Because your body will tell you what it needs, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you listen. So sorry, but go ahead.
No, it's absolutely correct. You need to stop and listen so you can hear the messages from your body. And really, before getting a cancer diagnosis, your body was probably trying to send you messages that you might not have heard. And cancer is kind of your body's way of screaming at you, hello, I really need you to pay attention and make some changes.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, sorry. I'm just going to say for our viewers, you know, the cancer caregivers, you know, I'm a big advocate for stress management. Same thing. So it may not be cancer, but stress impacts your health and your body. So listening to those signs is also important, you know, because there are studies out there that show that stress can be associated with cancer, right? So just listening to your body overall is very essential.
Yeah, stress is a contributing factor to so many diseases today. It is a big one to pay attention to and make sure that you have coping strategies and ways to rest. You're not going to be able to eliminate all the stress in your life, but you could absolutely handle it better by giving yourself time and space, relax, rest, get quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another one of the factors is releasing suppressed emotions. So yeah, it's a good one. A lot of us stuff those emotions, right? I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. You know, you clench your teeth, you grit your jaw, you know, your jaw are clenched and your hands are clenched and you're stuffing it. And then maybe you don't want the tears to flow at that moment, but you absolutely need to pay attention to what's coming up for you. What is that emotion that's coming up and how can you deal with it? You need to acknowledge it. You need to feel it. And you need to release it. Let it go. And we like to give people the waterfall analogy, where those emotions and feelings are washing over you like a waterfall. They don't stop. They don't get stuck. They just keep going. And in traditional Chinese medicine and Eastern medicines, they have a belief that qi, or the life force energy, can get blocked by emotions and things that are stuck in the body. And if you've ever had any kind of healing modalities with acupuncture, energy medicine, or craniosacral therapy, when you're on the table and you're getting that kind of work done, emotions can come up for you. And they're typically stuck emotions that you didn't release. And it doesn't mean you had a traumatic childhood, although people with trauma obviously need to deal with that and heal from that. People with just little minor traumas. I had a perfectly lovely childhood, but you know, everything wasn't perfect and there were things that got stuck or that I held on to. And learning to release and let go is really important for healing the body. Again, back to the qi, or the energy flow. They believe that an unblocked flow of qi is the body's state of health. And also, to go with that one, is increasing positive emotions. So positive emotions, joy, happiness, love, those things are like rocket fuel for your immune system. If you are laughing, you are giving yourself a huge boost to your immune system. And it's really important. So from the caregiver perspective, not only do you need to laugh, but you need to make sure that your loved one is getting laughter and fun and happiness. And I know that cancer can be quite a time-consuming journey, and it can just suck the life out of everybody around the patient. Taking time to find joy and happiness and fun and laughter for even just 5 minutes a day can be really, really helpful. So watch those comedy videos, or baby goats in pajamas, or whatever, you know, cat video you like on YouTube. So another one of the factors that we talk about, but we always point people to a practitioner, is the herbs and supplements factor. So all of the radical remission survivors were taking some type of herbs and supplements. It's very bio-individual, very individualized, and testing with a practitioner that knows about this is really your best way to do herbs and supplements. But there were 3 categories the radical remission survivors kind of focused on. They were typically taking supplements that could boost their immune system, things that could help their digestive system, so aid in digestion, so nutrients could be better absorbed, and then detoxifying supplements. And of course, you need to be careful with all of those. And certainly when you're doing chemotherapy or something like that, the detoxifying supplements aren't the right thing to do at that time. So practitioners to help are definitely highly recommended. Another factor, and this one's a tough one for a lot of people, changing your diet. And Dr. Turner called it radically changing your diet, which means really either eliminating or drastically reducing meat, wheat, sweets, and dairy. And the meat is specifically red meat, and processed red meat is the worst. If you're going to do meat, you should buy the highest quality possible, right? Wild caught fish and farm or grass-fed, grass-finished beef, that kind of high quality. Do less of it and do smaller portions. When it comes to wheat, that really refers to the refined grains and the processed grains. White rice isn't necessarily your friend. Brown rice is better. Quinoa is a whole grain. That's a good one to do. But your processed foods should definitely be eliminated. You can still eat bread. You might want to find a sprouted bread instead. And you're definitely going to want to go with non-GMO wheat and corn products if you can. They're the highest sprayed and highest genetically modified crops in the United States. So it's always a good idea to do non-GMO organic. And there are some things that can be done non-organic. There are produce that isn't as highly sprayed, and I always recommend that people go to the environmentalworkinggroup.org, EWG.org, to find out what they absolutely should get organic and what is safe not to do organic. The second to the last one is empowering yourself. And empowering yourself really means becoming the CEO of your health. So you're taking charge. It was originally called taking control of your health, and Dr. Turner realized that you can't really control everything. So empowering yourself is maybe a better way to say it, but it really is about you're in charge. You're picking the practitioners you're working with. They may be experts in their field, but they are not an expert in you. So you should be making the decisions for yourself, and you should be listening to your intuition about who you work with and what you do. And then lastly is having strong reasons for living. And having a strong reason for living is what's giving you purpose and meaning in your life. And that is something that you're going to want to be around for, right? So it gives you more reason to live another day. And it might be watching your kids graduate or get married, or if you don't have kids, it's taking that trip you always wanted to take, or completing that big body of work that you wanted to do. Or maybe it's just little things like, I need to finish that scrapbook and I want to get my bucket list checked off, and could be anything. So those are the 10 healing factors.
No, those are awesome. And, the last two, we are actually in the middle of a series talking about the 10 foundational elements to really transforming yourself into the best you. It's based on a book. And, I was talking yesterday to, my audience about, you are still, you are worth having goals and purpose in life, despite your current situation. Whether you're a caregiver, whatever's going on, you do have to still have that hope, have goals, have purpose, and take time and space to tap into those and redefine those. I talk a lot about, when you work, right? So the corporate world, goals and objectives are the thing. So that whole CEO of your health is the same thing. We need goals and objectives for our lives. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And really taking time, mid-year review,
Yeah,
quarterly reviews.
absolutely. Great idea.
Yeah. So I think we need to put the same time into that, and the payment is not monetary, right? It's intangible things that is really going to help us thrive in life. So that's one model I use when I, talk to my audience about anything, because this is really all about empowering people to really optimize their health and wellness, despite what's going on with them. So I think those 10 healing factors are amazing and really reiterate what we talk about on this platform. So
that's great. Yeah.
So much. And where can people find out more information about you and what you do?
Yes, they can go to our website, which is www.healthnavs.com. navs.com. So it's health and then NAVS.com. And they can find out more about me, Liz, and Micah, and all of the offerings that we have, the Radical Remission workshops that are coming up. There's one starting on February 25th. We also have book clubs. And so we have a men's book club starting on the Radical Hope. So a men's group. And obviously, Liz, Mike, and I aren't men. So we have our colleague, John Henry, running this men's book club. And men who are dealing with a diagnosis can read this book, get together, just men, and talk about those hard to talk about feelings that men don't always like to talk about. John Henry put it so well, but it's going to be a great way for the guys to get together and find their health and healing.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And before we go, if you had to pick one of the healing factors for someone to start with, if someone is saying those all sound good, but where do I start? What will be your recommendation?
You know, that's a tough question, but I get it because it is hard to do everything all at once. The one thing I will say is that the Radical Remission survivors did not do all of these things at once. They took baby steps, right? So they did a lot. And sometimes the one it's going to be different for everybody, kind of depending on where you're at. If your diet is really in bad shape, maybe that's where you want to start. But I think I said it earlier, intuition to me is really foundational. So I might say everybody needs to, and part of intuition is, getting quiet and meditation and calm and learning how to be instead of do. And that might be the one that I would suggest everybody start with.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Oh, Wendy, I'm so glad that I could step in for Liz. It was really great to meet you and happy to be here with your audience tonight. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you. Have a good night, everyone.